I want to move on to this story that's all over the news right now because it continues a theme that you and I have discussed many times, and that is the death of Liam Payne of One Direction. How many times have we talked about the downsides of young, fame, fortune, too soon, before these kids really can handle it, and all that comes with it? You know, it's like even the success stories are fraught. So this poor guy who was part of this British boy band, one of the most successful of all time, 70 million records sold. I actually didn't know a ton of their songs, to be perfectly honest with you, until I went and, searched the music essentials. And the one I know the best is that everyone knows that
I don't
one.
really know that. I'm a Harry Styles person.
Well, he was in the band.
Right.
Harry Styles was in the band. Yes, you know that song. Come on, this is SiriusXM. We've got to be able to lay in some. You don't know you're beautiful.
Okay.
We're going to lay in some of the music because I work for a music company now, so we're going to have that song.
In the way that you are is enough. Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you. Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. The way that you flip your hair gets me overwhelmed. But when you smile at the ground, it ain't hard to tell. You don't know you're beautiful.
Anyway, so huge success. They were put together on X Factor. And he goes over to Argentina and dies after, the police said, jumping from a third-story balcony in the hotel. The prosecutor in charge is saying may have fallen, unclear. Drug paraphernalia reportedly found, alcohol as well. They're not expecting a clean tox screen. Behaving erratically beforehand. There was a report of a smashed television. They first called the cops saying someone's out of control and we're not sure if he's going to hurt himself. It was too late by the time they got there.
Yeah.
So what do you make of his story, Maureen? Because as I read into it, he spoke openly of battling suicidal thoughts prior to this, about the massive downsides of fame.
Yeah.
How unhappy it was making him.
Yeah. He reportedly said shortly before he died, like half an hour earlier in the lobby, some fan had approached him. He said something like, I was a child star. I was in a boy band, and that's why I'm so effed up. The other thing I noticed about him is the sleeves of tattoos that he had. And one of the markers, and I'm not saying this was the case with him or with anybody necessarily who has multiple tattoos covering their bodies, but it is often an indicator that that is a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Those tattoos are a way of reclaiming the skin, of erasing what was done to them. And so whenever I see that, I often think, what did they maybe survive?
Wow.
The Liam thing made me think of Justin Bieber, who is also clearly struggling right now and hopefully has an incredible support system around him, because whatever's going on is he's a new father. This should be the happiest time of his life, not a time in which he is greatly struggling. And then all of this also reminded me of, so the Lisa Marie Presley memoir is out right now. And one of the stories that her daughter Riley, who finished the book for her, chose to include is completely jaw-dropping, and I don't understand why it's so underreported. She writes that after her brother, Lisa Marie's son, Benjamin, committed suicide, gunshot wound to the head at a very young age, I think he was maybe 28. She had him embalmed, and then she had him moved back into her house where she lived with him for 2 months.
Lisa Marie did. Or she lived with her son's dead body.
For 2 months. Oh my God. My theory about this, she married Michael Jackson. She married a pedophile. Who was obsessed with little boys.
Oh.
He was also obsessed with Elvis Presley.
Right.
And her son looked a lot like Elvis. And I wonder if he got his hands on that little boy, and that was the cause of his trauma, his drug and alcohol issues, the ultimate suicide, and if her grief was so complicated by feeling blame, maybe, for what had happened to him. And that could be why. It's just a theory, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
Who lives with their dead child's corpse for 2 months. She kept him on dry ice?
Apparently, in like a casita, in like a guest house. And she would say that she would go in there and she would talk to him and like comfort him. And then what finally happened apparently was she called a tattoo artist to come to the house and give her and her son matching tattoos.
Oh my.
And then the tattoo artist says, sure. And she comes over and Lisa Marie is like, here's my son. And it's like right out of Psycho, you know?
Oh my God. I mean, truly, that's a disturbed person.
Yeah.
Lisa Marie. I mean, we know this, but
Yeah.
I mean, even more than we knew.
Yeah.
It would take something dramatic to drive you to that point. I mean, loss of a child is the worst thing that can possibly happen to anybody. And she's had a lot of loss. She did prior to dying at a very young age with Elvis and, just a tumultuous world around her. So who knows? This is obviously just a theory.
Just a theory. And
the truth is we don't know for sure about Michael Jackson either, but you're putting some pieces together that make some sense. It's dark, Maureen. I don't know. To me, it's just further affirmation of all of this. Michael Jackson's life, Lisa Marie Presley's and her family's lives, Liam Payne, Matthew Perry, like enormous fame at a very young age is a devil. It's not a blessing. It's a curse. And it should be avoided and eschewed and protected against at all costs.
Absolutely. I think it's the worst thing that could happen to a child. I really do. And it's so funny. I was with my niece on Sunday. She's 11. And we were talking about a lot of these stories, the whole family, and talking about childhood fame and what wreckage it causes, the carnage it causes. And my brother said, that's why I won't let her model. I won't do it. My sister-in-law said, well, what if she winds up on her traveling basketball team? My brother's like, show's on the road. We're not leaving her alone with anybody who is not related to her. And I don't think most parents think that way. And more really should.
Yeah, not until they get old enough to understand, what the risks are. Like 15, you can talk to a 15-year-old.
Right.
Like, these are the risks of life. It's not that they can't be exploited, though. I mean, in connection with that whole Nickelodeon expose,
Yep.
We heard some disturbing stories about young men around that age, too. It's just there are predators out there. I do want to play this one soundbite we pulled. He went on a podcast called Straight Talking. Liam Payne did Straight Talking with Aunt Middleton in 2019 and spoke a little bit about his feelings, what he was going through at that time.
For some certain circumstances, I'm quite lucky to be here still, which is something I've never really shared with anyone.
Explain.
I can't go too deep into it because I don't really know how I feel about it myself. I still haven't really made my peace with it, if I'm honest. There's times where that level of loneliness and people getting into you every day, like I say, just every so often you're like, when will they send? And then that's almost nearly killed me a couple of times.
As
when
in
I've been in
you
a bad
wanted
place.
to...
Yeah, when I've been in a bad place, 100%, there's no point denying it. It's definitely been on the menu a couple of times in my life.
It's so tragic. And you just think there are so many families out there who feed their kids to the wolves in this department. Like they want the kid to be famous. They want the kid to be rich so that the parents can feed off of it. Or the parents themselves feel underachieved and they want to have a second go at it through the child. And I think that's in part how this can happen. Health has been a big topic around the country over the past few weeks. And one thing we don't talk about enough is how exercise plays a vital role in that. And it's not just cardio. We really need to look at strength training. More muscle helps to boost metabolism and helps as we age. But let's face it, many are intimidated when it comes to lifting weights at a gym, not to mention the fact that we are all busy and we don't necessarily have the time. This is where Jacked Up Fitness comes in. They bring the gym to you, a full machine that fits in your house and does it all. It's an all-in-one home gym. It allows you to do multiple strength training exercises. And best of all, it comes with access to their app, which includes multiple workouts where you just push play and follow along. Jacked Up Fitness is an American company, and they are giving 900 machines this year to the Wounded Warrior Project. So if you're looking to take charge of your health and help veterans on their road to recovery, Order your home gym today at getjackedup.com and enter code MK for a 10% discount on your own home gym. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.